Hello and welcome to GBE Business Digest. In today's episode, we'll be exploring the Mexican trade balance for August 2024 and uncovering what the minus $4.8 billion deficit means for the country's economy. Let's dive right in.
In August 2024, Mexico had a trade deficit of, get this, $4.868 billion USD.
Wow.
That's a whopping 280.8% increase compared to August of the previous year.
It's like jumping into the deep end of a pool when you thought you were just dipping your toes in.
Oh.
So you want to pay attention.
So before we get too far, can you just break it down for us? Trade deficit, what does that even mean? And should we be worried?
Right, good question. Basically, it means Mexico is buying more from other countries than it's selling.
Like when you overspend, but on a country level?
Exactly. Now, sometimes that's okay, like if you're investing in growth, right?
Yeah.
But this jump, that's what makes you go,
Okay, makes sense. So let's dig in a bit. What's happening with what Mexico is selling their exports?
Well, it's a mixed bag. Overall, they actually dipped by 1%. Not huge, but not great either.
One step forward, two steps back kind of thing.
Right, but here's the interesting part. Non-petrol exports, which are most of it, actually grew. Like machinery, mining products, those did well.
Oh, so some bright spots. But I sense a but coming.
You know it. That good news is kind of overshadowed by what happened with their petroleum exports. They took a nosedive down 26.6%.
Oof, that's gotta hurt. What's going on there?
Well, this report doesn't really get into the weeds on that, but it does make you think. Could be global oil prices or maybe something going on within Mexico's energy scene, you know?
Okay, so big drop in petroleum exports. That's a big piece of this puzzle for sure. But it sounds like there's more to the story, right? What about the imports, what Mexico is buying?
Right, so if you remember, we said Mexico is buying more than it's selling. And those imports, yeah, they went up by 5.7% actually.
Wow, so they're really buying a lot more.
They are, especially what are called intermediate goods, things used in manufacturing.
So like the ingredients that go into making other products.
Exactly, which maybe means they're gearing up for more production, which could be good in the long run, right?
Interesting. So it's like they're stocking up, but shouldn't that mean their exports would be higher too?
Well, here's the other thing. While they're buying more of those manufacturing supplies, imports of regular consumer goods actually went down.
Wait, so people are buying less stuff?
Seems that way.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, right? Are people worried about the economy? Maybe buying more local products. It's really interesting to think about.
Yeah, it's like getting a little peek into how people are feeling about things. Okay, so we've got a lot to unpack here, but I have to ask about the semaphore system they use in the report. What's the deal with that?
Oh, yeah. Think of it like a traffic light for different parts of the economy. Green means good, they're selling more than they're buying. Red means they're buying more than they're selling.
Oh, that makes sense. A quick way to see what's doing well and what's struggling.
Exactly. And remember how we talked about the automotive industry being so important for Mexico?
Yeah, how could we forget with all the ups and downs they've had?
Well, get this. Back in August 2023, they were doing great, had a nice surplus.
Green light all the way.
Right. But fast forward to August 2024. Red light. They're now in a deficit.
Whoa, what a change.
That's the global economy for you, right? It's a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Supply chains, what people want to buy, those trade deals we talked about, it can all change in the blink of an eye.
Like 1 minute you're cruising, the next you're hitting the brakes.
And this isn't just about cars. This kind of volatility, it affects real people, real jobs.
It's all connected. One little hiccup in one part of the world can cause a big ripple somewhere else.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that even with everything being so global and interconnected, some things still have a huge impact.
Like that drop in oil exports.
Exactly. Even in a world of tech and everything online, those old industries like oil, they still have the power to shake things up. And for Mexico, that drop in oil money is a big deal.
Makes you think, right? What's causing it? How will they adapt? There's so much more to uncover.
Oh, absolutely. It's like this report is giving us all the clues, and now it's up to us to put the pieces together.
And that's what we're here for. Okay, so we've got the big picture of Mexico's trade, but I'm kind of curious to zoom in a bit. This report, it actually breaks things down month by month. It's like getting a sneak peek into how things have been changing.
I like that, a sneak peek, like watching a movie unfold in slow motion.
Exactly. So let's rewind back to August 2023, almost a year ago. Back then, Mexico's trade deficit was sitting at $1.2784 billion. Smaller, but still in the red.
Huge difference, though, right?
Yeah.
Goes to show how quickly things can change in the global economy.
And this is where those traffic lights in the report come in handy.
Totally. You can see right away which sectors were doing well and which weren't.
Right. So August 2023, overall trade balance red light, deficit. But then you break it down. Like, let's look at manufacturing. That's always a big one, right?
For sure. Manufacturing doing well, usually that means good things for the economy.
Exactly. And back in August 23, manufacturing was in the green. They had a surplus of $52.4586 billion, selling those goods like hotcakes.
Always a good sign.
Right. But then, fast forward to August 2024. Still green, but that surplus shrunk to $49.6661 billion. Not a huge drop, but still.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Like if your bank account suddenly started shrinking even a little bit, you'd want to know why, right?
Exactly. And speaking of things to keep an eye on, remember how we were talking about the automotive industry being a roller coaster?
Oh, yeah, they've been all over the place.
Well, August 2023, things are looking good. They had a surplus of $3.0625 billion. Cruising along, no problem.
Everyone was optimistic back then, thought the good times would keep rolling.
And then, boom, August 2024 rolls around, and they're in the red, a deficit of negative $2.2494 billion. Talk about a plot twist.
It really shows how unpredictable things can be, right? All those factors we talked about, they can change so quickly.
Yeah, it makes you realize that even when things seem good, you never really know what's around the corner.
And it's not just numbers on a page. This affects people's livelihoods, you know.
Absolutely. It's all connected. And it reminds me of something else this report highlights. Even with everything being so global these days, there are still some things that have a huge impact.
You're talking about that drop in petroleum exports, right?
Exactly. That 26.6% drop, that's not something you just shrug off. It really underscores how important those traditional industries still are.
Absolutely. It's a wake-up call. The world might be obsessed with tech and the latest gadgets, but those old industries like oil and gas, they still have the power to make or break economies.
For sure. And for Mexico, that drop in oil exports is a major challenge.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of GBE Business Digest. Stay informed with the latest business insights. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and visit Carlos Bastida's website to explore his portfolio of services. The link is in the description. Let's work together to elevate your business to the next level.